Welcome to the Crystal Practice Management Optical Training video. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to go through and set the optical up for use inside of the Crystal Practice Management software. To get started, we want to go to the admin section of Crystal and then go over to the billing area. The billing area is crucial when setting up the optical for use inside of the Crystal Practice Management software. In the billing area, you can see a list of what we refer to as billing codes. You're going to want to go through and create billing codes for all of your ophthalmic lenses and ophthalmic lens add-ons. We do recommend that you create product-specific billing codes for these items. For example, if you sell a Verilux Comfort 2, then go through and create a billing code specific for that Verilux Comfort 2. To create a billing code, we go down to the bottom of the screen and we click on the blue button that says Create New Billing Code. When we do that, we're brought to our Edit Billing Code screen, where we can go through and enter the billing code ID, description, set our pricing and the quantity and sales price per one item boxes, enter our procedure code, category for our billing code, and select our checkbox options for our billing code. Today I'm going to go through and create a billing code for the Verilux Comfort. As you can see, I gave my Verilux Comfort the billing code ID of Verilux Comfort. If I had wanted to, I could have just given it the billing code ID of Comfort. And the description, I'll go through, type in my description for my lens. And then I'll go through and set my pricing. For my Verilux Comfort lens, I want to sell this particular lens for $300 for the pair. I'm going to go through here, and on my sales price, I'm going to put in $150, and then change the quantity to 2. When I go through and charge my patient for this particular lens option in the billing area, Crystal will do the math for me, giving me the $300 price point for this lens. I now want to go through and set my procedure code up for my billing code. Select my optician staff checkbox. That way I can go through and run reports on what my opticians are providing my patients, and then give my billing code a category. As you can see here on my drop-down list, I have a number of categories. I'm going to go ahead and put this under the ophthalmic lens category. Categories are user-defined and can be set however you want. If you want to have a blanket category for all of your ophthalmic lenses and ophthalmic lens add-ons, you can. Or you can break that out and have a separate category for your ophthalmic lenses and a separate category for your ophthalmic lens add-ons. When you're done creating your billing code, click OK at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You can see the Verilux Comfort billing code I created is now in my billing code list. Again, we're going to want to go through and do this for all of the ophthalmic lenses and ophthalmic lens add-ons that you provide your patients. When we're done creating those billing codes for all of the ophthalmic lenses and ophthalmic lens add-ons, we want to navigate over to the default section and then over to an area labeled Frame Page Defaults. Your Frame Page Defaults area controls all of the drop-downs in the glasses ordering section. As you can see, it is very robust here with lots of options in regards to setting up how our optical order screen will function. The first area that we want to talk about is going to be our frame order area. When you look at the frame order area, you'll notice a set of values over on the left-hand side: sale, POF, reframe style, frame warranty, and so forth. When we look at our spectacle lab order screen, in the frame order area, you'll notice that we have the exact same values: sale, POF, reframe style, frame warranty, optician, redo, and so forth. In this section, you're going to want to go through and create the values for what your office deems to be a frame order. To add values to this area, click the Add Item button and type in the new value. You can see that the new value that I've added gets added to the bottom of the list. I can go through and customize the order of this list by highlighting this value and moving it up or down in the list. I can also go through and click the alpha button, which will alphabetize all of the values in this list. When going through and creating the values in this particular list, we want to make sure that we have a value that represents some kind of frame sale. For example, the value of sale. When creating your billing codes in the billing code area, we want to make sure that we have a billing code that is for our frame sale. This particular billing code acts as a pointer to look in the inventory section when your staff goes through and they use that particular billing code. To add a billing code to a particular value in the frame page defaults area, we highlight the value and then click on the Add Billing Code button. When we do that, we're brought to our billing code search box where we can go through and search for the billing code either by the billing code ID, the procedure code, or the description. The procedure code for the frame is V2020. As you can see, I have a list of different kinds of frame billing codes here. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the first one. And when I do that, you can see we now have a billing code attached to the sale for our frame order. On your lens type area, this should be very basic. Single vision, bifocal, trifocal, progressive, near variable focus, specialty, quad, whatever you guys deem to be a lens type. Billing code that gets attached here will just go on the single vision option. Again, to do so, highlight the single vision option, click Add Billing Code, and then look for the billing code either by the billing code ID, the procedure code, or the description. As you can see, I've got a billing code that says Single Vision Plastic that I'm going to go ahead and tie into the Single Vision option here. This would be the only spot where we're going to be linking a billing code on the lens type area. The majority of your bill code linking starts at description, and then we continue doing bill code linking from description pretty much all the way down to other. In the description area of the frame page defaults, you'll want to list the specific ophthalmic lenses you provide your patients and link the corresponding bill codes to those values. As you can see in my list below, I have listed the specific ophthalmic lenses I provide my patients, and I have also gone through and linked the corresponding bill codes in this section. It is recommended that when you link bill codes in this section that you link the bill code that corresponds with the CR39 cost for that specific lens. Material add-ons are covered in the next section under material. You'll notice here is as an example, I have a bifocal blended seg22. To the right of that, I've linked my billing code for the bifocal blended seg22, and the cost for that billing code is going to be the cost for the CR39 of that particular lens. The next section will be material. In the material section of the frame page defaults, you'll want to list all of the different lens materials you offer your patients. When creating your material values in this section, please keep in mind your billing structure for material upgrades. If you charge a flat rate fee for material upgrades from single vision to multifocal to progressive, then you will only need to create individual values for your material upgrades, as listed here in the example. If you charge different fees for material upgrades based on single vision, multifocal, or progressive, then you'll need to create multiple values for each material. For example, if you charge different things for a Trivex upgrade for single vision, multifocal, or progressive, you'll have 3 different values for Trivex. One might say Trivex single vision, the other one might say Trivex multifocal, and the other one might say Trivex progressive. You'll need to make sure that after you create the values in the material area, that you link the corresponding bill codes to those values. So if you have 3 different types of Trivexes listed here in your materials area, you will need to create 3 different billing codes for your Trivexes in the billing area and link them to the corresponding values here in material. In the tint section of the frame page default, you'll want to create values for your tints and link, of course, the corresponding bill codes. In this section, you can get as specific as you want. In the example that you see here, you'll notice I went a little crazy with it and created different values for all of the major types of tints. Solid gray 1, solid gray 2, solid gray 3, gradient gray 1, gradient gray 2, gradient gray 3. You do not have to get this specific when creating your tints. You can, if you want, just create values that say solid tint and a value that says gradient tint and then link the corresponding bill codes. You'll also notice in this particular list that I have added my mirror coding down here as well. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. During my setup process, this is where I put the mirror codings. The next area we're going to discuss is the edge area. In the edge area of the frame page defaults, you will want to create values that correspond with the different edge treatments you provide your patients. In the example that you can see here, I have listed the most common lens treatments I offer my patients and linked the corresponding bill codes. Make sure that you list the edge treatments that you provide your patients and have created the corresponding bill codes to link in this section. The next area we're going to be talking about will be the coding areas. You have 3 areas for coding: coding 1, coding 2, and coding 3. In the coding sections of the frame page defaults, you'll want to create values for all of the codings and add-ons you provide your patients. In the example below, you will see that in coding 1, I have listed all of my anti-reflective coatings and linked the corresponding bill codes. In coding 2, I have listed all my scratch coats and UVs and linked the corresponding bill codes. And in coding 3, I have listed all my photochromatic lenses and my polarized lenses, and of course linked my corresponding bill codes. This is just a suggested way to set this up. You can certainly put your photochromic lenses in coding 1 if you wanted to, your ARs in coding 2, and all your other options in coding 3. Make sure that when you're creating the values for these, that you also tie in the corresponding bill codes. And the next section we want to discuss will be the other section. In the other section of the frame page defaults, you'll want to create values that coincide with all of the extra services that you provide your patients that have not already been listed throughout the other sections of the frame page defaults. In the example provided below, you can see I have listed all of the extras I provide my patients over on the left-hand side and linked in the corresponding bill codes. The next section we'll be talking about will be the status section. In the status section of the frame page defaults, you want to create all of the various status changes that the glasses go through. In the example below, you can see I have a list of values that give general statuses of where my glasses are during production. Crystal does not automatically update statuses in the Spectacle Lab order screen. Statuses must be changed manually as the glasses go through the production process. After the optician creates the order, they will want to mark the order as created. After the lab staff has ordered the glasses, they will want to mark the order as ordered. Once the glasses arrive from the lab completed, the lab staff will want to mark the glasses as received. Updating the status is an important part of the glasses production. Keeping the statuses updated and accurate will allow you to run reports and see where the jobs are in the production process. Setting up the first 11 sections of the frame page defaults is a crucial part of how the Spectacle Lab order screen will function in your office. You do have other options that can be selected to enhance how the Spectacle Lab order screen will function. Under the first 11 sections or tabs that we were working on, you'll see these options. Options like Check Show Balances, which gives you the option to view patient balances on the Spectacle Lab order screen. Use Previous Order PD if RX blank, gives you the option to pull the PD from a previous order if the PD is left blank on this current order. Display Wholesale Frame Price gives the option to view the wholesale frame price on the Spectacle Lab order screen. Expected In gives you the option to set what the default turnaround time for your Spectacle Lab orders will be. Always Show VSP option gives the option to use the VSP defaults instead of the regular frame page defaults when creating Spectacle Lab orders. Require PD for prescriptions gives you the option to set whether or not you require PD on the Spectacle Lab order screen when creating an order. Require seg height if ad present gives you the option to set whether or not you require seg height if an ad is present when creating an order. Require authorization gives you the option to set whether or not you require a number to be entered in the authorization box on the Spectacle Lab order screen. Require lab gives you the option to set whether or not you require a lab name be entered in the lab box on the Spectacle Lab order screen. Require frame parameters gives you the option to set whether or not you require the frame boxing measurements be entered in on the Spectacle Lab order screen. If sphere is greater than plus or minus 3, require OC gives it the option to set whether or not you require an OC be entered in if the power is above a plus or minus 3. Print options box gives you the option to set whether or not you want to print out which ophthalmic lens options list you used, either the VSP option list or your frame page defaults option list. Going through and setting up the frame page defaults as described will allow your staff members to create spectacle lab orders and then have the order information pulled off the order and turned into a routing slip, which can then be turned into an invoice. To create a spectacle lab order, we will first need to navigate to the patient module in the top left corner of the screen. Next, we'll need to navigate over to the prescription tab. To create the order, we'll need to press on the Frames button. You notice that once we press on the Frames button, the spectacle lab order screen opens up. To get to a point where we can edit this and create a new order, we'll click on the button that says New Order. After pressing the New Order button, you will notice that all the fields that were grayed out are open and available to edit. You will also notice that the prescription will populate in the prescription box as long as there is a prescription listed in the prescription tab of the patient module. At this point, you will want to verify that the patient's information is correctly listed in the top left corner of the spectacle lab order screen. From there, you'll want to select which lab you'll be ordering from. If this is a job that has insurance attached to it, you may want to enter in the authorization number in the authorization number box. Under the authorization box, you will want to select the optician who is creating the order. You will also need to set your expected date, status, and select the provider who wrote the prescription if the name is not already in the box. Next, you will need to take the appropriate measurements based on the prescription. Enter in PDs, seg heights, and/or OCs as required. The next step is to enter in the frame information. In the frame selected area, located underneath the prescription information, you will need to first select what kind of frame order this is. To do so, first click on the arrow on the right-hand side of the frame order box. When you do that, you will be presented with a list of options. For this example, I'm going to choose sale. If the frame you are providing your patient has been entered into the Crystal Practice Management Inventory section and you are using barcodes or have the UPC listed on the frame tag that might be located on your frame, you can scan or manually enter in the UPC number in the box labeled Frame UPC. If you do not have the UPC or the barcode on your frame, you can manually look in the inventory by clicking on the magnifying glass to the side of the Frame UPC box. When you do that, you'll be brought to an Enter Frame UPC box. To manually look in the inventory, click on the Look in Inventory button. Select the manufacturer, the collection, the frame name, the color, and the eye size, and when done, click OK. You'll notice that your frame's information will be listed here. Over to the right, you'll also notice that the estimated balance goes up. This is important when creating your order. Next, we'll want to go through, select our lens type. For this order, we're going to provide a progressive to our patient. So in the lens type, I'm going to click and select progressive. I want to provide my patient with a Verilux Comfort 2. So in the description box, I'm going to click on the arrow and look for my Verilux Comfort 2. You'll notice that when I do that, the price went up. For my Verilux Comfort 2, I'm going to put it into a polycarbonate material. When I select polycarbonate, the price will also go up over on the estimated balance. For my patient, I'm going to provide a tint. Again, the price went up. An edge treatment with high luster edge polish. Again, the price went up. Do a Crizal Alizé for the AR. I'm not going to provide a coating 2 here on this, but for coating 3, I'm going to go ahead and provide a Transitions Gray. On the other, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a drill mount. So for our patient here, we're going to be providing a Nike Flexon 12345, Verilux Comfort 2 in polycarbonate with a solid gray 1, high luster edge polish, Crizal Alizé, transitions, and drill mount. When we're done creating our order, we're going to click Save. You'll notice that when we click the Save button, we're now brought to a little window that asks if we would like to turn this order into a routing slip. Below that, you'll see your routing slip values. You'll notice here that our frame, our Verilux Comfort 2, our polycarbonate lens material, our tint, our polished edges, our anti-reflective coating, transitions, and drill mount are all listed here in this window. If you've linked your bill codes correctly in the Admin Defaults Frame Page Default section, you will notice that all of the values that you select as you create the order will be listed here where it says Routing Slip Values. I've got my frame listed here. Again, my Verilux Comfort 2, polycarbonate, tint, polished edges, AR, transitions, and drill mounting. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. When I click yes, my routing slip will open up. This is just to verify that the information made it from the Spectacle Lab order onto the routing slip, and it did. Frame, lenses, material, tint, polished edges, AR, my transitions, and my drill mount. Once I've verified that the information made it from the work order over to the routing slip, I can click Close in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Minimize or print my order, and when I'm ready to charge my patient, I'll go into billing. When we go into billing, we're asked if we want to turn this routing slip into an invoice. If you're ready to create an invoice for this patient, go ahead and say yes. Once you say yes, you're brought to your billing screen, and you'll notice everything from the routing slip pulled off of the routing slip and dropped into the invoice. There's our frame, there's our lenses, there's our material, our tint, our polished edges, our anti-reflective coating, our transitions, and our drill mounting. If this is a private pay patient, give invoice, collect our money. If this is not a private pay patient, we click on the Assign Insurance button at the top, select the insurance that we want to assign to the invoice, and then go through and assign the money based on what the insurance says to charge the patient.